George, you ready?
Yeah, everything's ready.
Okay, it is 10:02 p.m. I now return from executive session. Ms. Schultz, will you call the roll, please?
Trustee Birding,
Present?
Trustee Harkemaier,
Here.
Trustee McAbey,
Here. Okay, may we have resolution 2535, please? Ms. LaPenzi?
2535
Yeah.
is a resolution to appoint create the position of office manager. I didn't bring my stuff. A resolution to create the position of office manager and job description and promoting Diane French to that position.
Motion to adopt 2535.
Second.
Any discussion?
And the resolution makes reference to salary range, but I don't see that anywhere in here.
The salary will be indicated in the next resolution. What?
So it says in here, salary range for that position.
Yeah, I deleted the reference to it from the last time we talked about it, and basically I'm just going to include it or included it in the secondary resolution that's going to follow this one for pay raises.
So this resolution creates a new position.
It creates a position because we don't currently have a position for administrative assistant. We never did.
So it's a new position.
Yes. In a roundabout way, yes.
And, I mean, was it posted? Did anybody else get a chance to apply? In the very last paragraph says we're equal opportunity.
No,
No, it wasn't posted.
no, it wasn't posted.
Nobody else had a chance to apply.
No.
I think what this does is it defines the roles and responsibilities that Diane French has been doing for the last 6 or 7 months. And so while it creates a position, it really just defines the role that Diane French is serving. And so that is why we're creating the position, but promoting her to that position.
And the position that she's in now is, I don't know what it's called, but we're not going to replace it. It's being converted and combined into office manager,
That's our intention, yes.
and that's what this resolution does.
Yes.
I mean, for clarity, I mentioned this before, I thought it was a two-step thing. I thought we should have, created a position in one resolution, and then when we opened it up or didn't open it up, we had the second resolution, one item per resolution. Don't get me wrong, I think Diane French is one of the best, if not the best employee we have. And she's a dedicated township employee, and we definitely want her to stay around. But it's all about the process.
I think that's great feedback, Trustee McAbey, and going forward, maybe we should have that as part of our process.
I appreciate that, and I had mentioned it earlier, so I hear what you're saying. Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Schultz, may we have the roll, please?
Trustee Birding,
Yes,
Trustee Harkemaier,
Yes.
Trustee McAbey,
Yes,
and that resolution is adopted. May we have the next resolution, please?
Resolution 2544 is to authorize salary increases for the non-union employees.
I move to adopt 25-44.
Second.
So we went into executive session over the past several months just to try to get an idea of what the effective rate is for the various positions that we have here at Fairfield Township, where our neighboring government partners are, how they're compensating their employees. We have good employees. Our intent is to make them feel valued. But at the same time, we hope that they understand that we don't have the resources that some of our neighbors have. And so at this time, we cannot get them to rates where other municipalities or townships are paying. But we did task staff would come up with some sort of rate where they feel that the employees would feel valued, but also the trustees could maybe feel comfortable providing that pay rate. And so it was a very difficult process. We understand that there are certain financial restrictions that we have as Fairfield Township. We can't, obviously, if we had the resources, we'd love to give our valued employees a great compensation package, or an even better compensation package. But it is what it is. We are where we are based on our proceeds coming in, the expenses that we have, and the limitations that we have. And so while we could not meet the recommendations that staff came to the trustees with, it didn't make a lot of financial sense for our taxpayers. We feel like this is maybe something that, for the time being, could satisfy our employees, make them feel valued, and hope they understand that based on the financial constraints that we have, we're doing the best we can to compensate them appropriately. And so we kind of had staff put together a table for us to then have a discussion out here in public based on this. So I'd open the floor for more discussion based on this table. Any other discussion on the table presented to us by staff?
I would just like to say I appreciate your effort on this, Bertie, and staff. And I can see, looking at it, hourly, there's a variety of different pay changes, and some larger than others, of course. And I appreciate that work. But we shouldn't forget, this is just, you said package, this is just one part of it.
Yes.
I mean, when you start adding in an average of $25,000 a year of health insurance, dental, vision, life, short-term disability, and retirement, you take a $90,000 employee, becomes $126,000. So I know I'm old school and a dinosaur, but it used to be that local government employees didn't make a market rate, but you had a job security and you had excellent benefit. And recently we pushed the market rate, and we're still providing all those other things. So I still have those same questions about adding to our financial problem. Hopefully it's short term, but we won't know that until we make some decision on being proactive about, taking it to the voters and ask them what they think. But I appreciate your effort on this, and I appreciate our employees.
And I agree with you, Trustee McAbee, that we're actually, I feel, we're not really at commercial market rate for our employees. Many of these rates here on this sheet are below what some high school graduates or even seniors at Butler Tech are making leaving high school.
Doing what though?
Well, they're in major, they have a skilled trade, but they're just now entering the workforce and they don't have families to feed. So I agree that these employees are making a certain bit of financial sacrifice. Someone that is, sort of leading our fiscal office outside of the fiscal officer, I think is making well below they're making below industry rate for the same job. I feel like, I think it would be difficult to say, well, what does a police chief make outside of government? Well, there is no police chief outside of government. So you have to be market rate for that. But, you know, some of these personnel are making below what they could make in the private sector by working for the government. And I think that they understand that. We hope they understand that, because that's just where we are. We're not spending profits on the sale of goods and services. We have to take in consideration this is taxpayer money we're spending. And so we have to be really fiscally responsible. And we feel like we're doing our best to make it our people feel valued, but also hope that they understand that we just can't get them where a neighboring government entity may be able to pay them at this time, because we just don't have those resources coming in. We don't have the development that Westchester has along I-75, and Liberty Township's about to get with the opening of the Milliken interchange and Liberty Center and all those things. And the city, some of the cities that we have, we can't compete with that, but we wanted to make some sort of adjustment to gradually, just like you were speaking with Trustee McAbey about maybe doing small levies at a time to get us to where we needed to be. We feel like this is making small steps at a time to hopefully get our employees where they need to be more competitive with neighboring districts.
Yeah, and again, I know people don't like to hear this, but we're a small suburban township. We're about built out. You know, this is what it is. And we're doing the best we can with what we have, but we need to do something else to generate income to be able to sustain all of these employees, because clearly our property tax revenue is not going to do it. Again, when you look at the whole package, I think this brings us a whole lot more in line with not our neighboring townships, because we'll never compete with Liberty unless that's where the cities. But with the private sector, I think this brings us more in line when you look at, you know, the retirement, being able to retire early, full pension, when you add all that up, it's a pretty good situation to be in. So it looks like the range is somewhere between 3 and 8 or 9%. Is that a fair?
Between 3 and 6%.
3 and 6%, okay. And again, I appreciate your work.
Sure. Any other comments or questions before we go to vote?
No, I think you summed that up quite well.
Okay. All right. Ms. Schultz, will you call the roll, please?
Trustee Birding.
Yes.
Trustee Harkemaier.
Yes.
Trustee McAbey.
No.
And that resolution is adopted. Okay, at this time, I move to adjourn.
Second.
Any other questions or comments? Ms.
Trustee
Schultz, will you call the roll?
Trustee Birding.
Yes.
Trustee McAbey.
Yes.
Trustee Harkemaier.
Yes.
And that motion is adopted, and we adjourn at 10:15 p.m. Thank you, everyone, for staying up late as we conduct our business.